Karundito. I am the Deputy Executive Director in charge of programs at the Green Belt Movement about the Mau Restoration Project. And one of the key components that we are going to implement in Nakuru County is climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture is one kind of farming with communities where they are able to increase their productivity on the farm. They are able to build resilience against climate change impacts and also reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. And that is an area where we will do a lot of training, a lot of capacity building to ensure that the households are well equipped to implement different interventions that we will train them about to conserve soil, water, and also to ensure that they are economically empowered. And we will give them different types of conservation materials, starting with high-value trees, bamboo. We will give them cover crops, among many other materials that will help them. We are talking about trees that when we give the farmers, they are able to sell the fruits and make some income. And we have a range of these particular varieties. We have avocados, we have macadamia, and we have mango varieties, oranges. The list is limited, is not limited, so that we can be able to give tree species that are adapted and also will give value to the livelihoods of the communities where we are working, depending on the locations where the project is located. And some of the challenges we have come across when we are working on the farms, especially around land tenure, when you start asking about the ownership, about the ID numbers, communities feel shy to give more details because they feel insecure to discuss about whether they own the land or not own the land, because there's a lot of issues around land ownership, especially around the Mau. But for the project that we are implementing, we are only here at the Green Belt Movement to empower the communities, to restore degraded landscapes, and to have their livelihoods improved. But to reduce the pressure on the forest, we want to bring the benefits that they receive from the forest on their farms, so that they have water, so that they have firewood, so that they have timber, and they are able to produce food on their farms to feed their families. That way we will be able to protect the resources. And again, we cannot work with the communities alone. We are working with a range of stakeholders, the county government. We are also working with the Kenya Forest Service and also other like-minded civil societies in Nakuru County, and also the national government, because the work that we do for tree planting is anchored on the national platform that is addressing issues around environmental conservation.
That the women and the youth are 3/4 of our population, and therefore leaving the women and the youth behind when it comes to matters conservation, it will be leaving a big chunk of our population from getting involved in matters conservation. At the same time, when we talk about environment, this is where the women who are the nurturers and the caregivers in our homes or in our households are expected to give food to the members of the households. They're supposed to give water for both domestic and livestock. They're supposed to get firewood. They're supposed to keep the environment safe and clean for everyone. So the involvement of women in this project, it's very critical, and we as the county, we embrace it, for it is going to give the women and the youth an opportunity to not only interact with the environment as they benefit from it, but also as they conserve the environment. So it is a very welcome project for us as the county. And as we are all aware that the land resource is man-owned. It is the man who is the leader, the decision maker, owns this resource. And so at times they may not, the women and the youth may not have, they have no authority to make decisions on what exactly can be done on the land. But bringing on women in the aspect of conservation, then there is that understanding and there is that inclusivity, and at the end of the day we have sustainable development.
Is Grace Karanja.
I work with the county government of Nakuru as the county director, environment, energy, natural resources, and climate change. And I'm happy to be part of this workshop, Indigenous Technical Knowledge. We are talking of the things that are inborn, the indigenous things that we know, the very things that our older generation used to do when, for example, they were experiencing some challenges in matters climate. And we are talking of maybe going back to the roots of coming up with maybe conservation efforts. Like, for example, they never used to farm within the riverine or riparian lands. They never used to use the inorganic fertilizers like we are using now to grow crops. They never used to fell down trees as a way of just felling trees. There are sacred areas within the forested area they used to conserve. Those are the things that we are talking about. We have to incorporate those aspects because they already knew this forest is something that is important for us and future generation. It is that they knew if we were to conserve the water catchment, even if they didn't know that it's the water catchment areas, they knew if we were to conserve these high areas, we are able to be provided with potable water, both for drinking and also for taking care of other activities. So that is the essence of incorporating indigenous knowledge for us to be able to integrate with whatever already we know in terms of science and also other things that we can be able to improve our livelihood and at the same time conserve the environment for future generation and us. When we talk of creating climate resilience, the communities that are resilient to climate change or are able to conserve environment, you are bringing on board the technology aspects, whereby if you own a farm, it doesn't need for you to be able to maybe the small land that you have, you can use the integrated method through tree growing in cooperation of, we call them edible landscapes. And at the same time, you can be able to earn income from that. You eat green food, that is healthy food. You can be able to commercialize in terms of maybe, for example, the crops that you grow, you can be able to sell some of them. And also whatever you are putting in as the output, should be able to we are reducing greenhouse emissions. Why do I say this? If it comes to climate smart agriculture, whatever things that you are putting into growing crops, you are using organic fertilizer, you're using maybe organic pesticides. So at the same time you have more yields, which you can be able to sell and feed your family. That means you'll be able to have a community that is safe from diseases, and also at the same time you can be able to have money in your pocket.